It's probably a tough thing to do, to bear through watching yourself communicate, but you can learn so much about your body language, if you're swaying or rocking, your use of hands. What's really fun and interesting is to watch the video with no sound, just to see what you're doing. It's really, so we can do that if we have time. But you guys did a great job in getting through the points in the time. We'll review it later today just to see. All right, so we're going to move on. And we're going to, yes?
Can I have a quick question on that?
Yeah.
In terms of watching video, like, I know and I can even, I have an idea of how I appeared. How do you change that? So will we get into tips and tools on how to make adjustments?
Yeah, I think it's, there's a lot of things that can be difficult, like ums and you-knows and ahs in between communication. Those are the tough things. First thing is awareness. Right, so first thing is if we watch ourselves and we see that we're doing something that we don't like, it's like, oh boy, I don't want to do that anymore. For example, when I first started facilitating, I had my team observe me and give me feedback. And what they said is, you do great, George, but when you get excited about a topic, you start snorting. Because you start breathing heavy. It's like, oh God, people are going to think I've been doing something else, right? And so the level of awareness around that was so high for me that I just eradicated it. I was very conscious when I facilitate that I don't snort when I get excited. So I think that's really, self-management, behavior modification can be hard. In fact, let's do an exercise right now showing what that looks and feels like. So what I'd like you to do is to bring your hands together in a hand clasp. Right? And my natural go-to position is my left thumb rests over my right. Some of you may have the opposite, which is fine. Somebody once said that left over right was a sign of genius, but nobody's been able to confirm that. Good. So both sides count for genius. So now what I'd like you to do is bring your hands apart and bring them back together with the opposite thumb on top. Two things happen through that change. Luis is having fun over here. What was the first thing you had to do?
Think about it.
You had to slow down and think about it, right? Okay, I got to do this backwards. Then what happened when you got here?
Felt weird.
It felt weird. It didn't feel normal. And this is a very small example of what behavior modification looks and feels like. When you go back into your work environment and you're going to communicate expectations differently, you're going to have to slow down and think about, okay, I'm not used to being direct and forward and kind of laying things out for people succinctly. And it doesn't feel right. And I'm communicating and my stomach is starting to churn and I'm feeling nervous in my shoes. Then I know I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. Right? So those two things usually happen when you're trying to modify your behavior. Slow down, think about it consciously. When you get there, it may not feel comfortable. Now, if I had you all doing reverse hand clasps for the next few days, what might start to happen?
Get quicker.
Yeah, you wouldn't be thinking about it as much, you would start to come to it easier, and you probably hate me for making you do that for 2 days. Right? So, but that's what practicing that behavior, getting out of your comfort zone can do to embed that new behavior.